friends. Today, something or someone is back. This could be very spiritual. Okay. I don't feel like you need to worry. I feel like you simply need to be aware. Okay. There could be a temptation to hold resistance today. I don't feel like you should. Some of you need to know that you are protective. You're protected. And so the actions that you've taken have put you in a position. I just heard where no evil shall befall you. You're not going to have to worry about impure intentions being able to penetrate the things that you've already gotten on top of or gotten in front of. So allow that to serve your benefit. And I feel like that should give you a level of confidence. You have two, I'll just say, characters that are coming in today. These feel like masculine energies. They could be men, but they don't have to be. They carry the authority of a man. If you think about an actual man, very dominant. It does give like alpha energy, someone who is in charge, someone who speaks when something needs to be said, someone who acts when something needs to be done. This is an energy of I'm getting the door, right? Move out of my way. It's also an energy of, hey, get on top of this. This is a person who doesn't have a problem using their voice when something is needed. They also are a person who typically has a desire to make known the truth. So if there's something that they want, they're going to tell you what they want. If there's something that they need, they're going to tell you what they need. I just heard, especially if that's you. Okay, so someone could be letting you know that they choose you. I do get an energy of clearing things up at the top of the day. It does feel as though there could be some confusion pertaining to choices. Why did you do that type of energy? And again, we're dealing with the energy of people who don't have a problem. If I want to understand, right? Or if I want to know what to do, these are people who, when it comes to raising their hand or stepping forward, they don't mind asking. So I feel like, again, that should be a benefit to you. These are not people who are, what this is doing is telling you if you find yourself in a position where you're dealing with people who are holding resistance, meaning that things are not clear and they're not willing to step up, let that be a sign to you that that is an element of protection. Okay. And I do feel like when, if there's not a willingness to find out, it feels like there's a problem. And yeah, I hear I don't want to know. So I feel where that is the case, perhaps you may be looking at false bravado or arrogance as opposed to someone who's truly an initiator. That can mean that they initiate when there's something that they want, but when it's time to get down to business and to what feels like talk facts, it could be like address things from a logical perspective. They may hold resistance with regard to that. There may still be some sense of like lacking of clarity. 777 is the number for today. In case any of you wonder, it feels as though faith is being tested, and not just faith like do you believe, but more so like what do you believe in. And if your faith is in things that are fruitless, right, if your faith is in your fears, obviously that's not really anything that you can root into, so it's ungrounded, there's nothing that's going to hold weight. If your faith is in what could be a stronger sense of the things that you believe in, it feels as though for some of you this is a test of your faith, which usually indicates there's going to be a testament. So you may have a story to tell by the end of the day concerning the things that you believe, and by virtue of you testing those beliefs, seeing those things come into being, you might be effing around and finding out. Okay, that's really what it gives. Significant energies today in terms of astrological signs. Libra is centering the messages for the extended here, and Pisces. Okay, Libra is a cardinal sign. Okay, and so when we're talking about Libran energy, we're talking about Ma'at, 42 laws of Ma'at. We're talking about weighing the feather against the heart. We're talking about truth. We're talking about was it right? We're also talking about was that fair? What is deserving, right? Hit a question, right? This could be like, do I deserve it, right? I hear Mark. I know I deserve it, right? I know it could be like I'm worth it, okay? Or I know it's not worth it, okay? I know I don't deserve it. But today feels like finding out, right? I don't know why it feels as though this has required a myriad of steps. So you may be finding something out today, but you may be finding out because of the fact that there are some other things that you maybe have had to kind of like it gives the energy of like procedural, where there were some things that you had to some steps that you had to take leading up to this point. um, Songs that came up in meditation for me, Journey, Faithfully, I'm forever yours faithfully. Also, who came up? Motley Crue came up, and Bonnie Raitt is significant. So any of these artists could resonate for you. Let's take a deeper dive and see perhaps what it is that we're looking at here. Again, we're talking about revelation at the top of the day. Again, someone showing their face, someone stepping up, someone is doing something, they're taking the lead or the initiative concerning a person, place, or thing, right? And whoever this is, they're doing it because they believe that it's their responsibility. Okay, so there's something, this could be someone's making contact with you, this could be someone's reaching out. It could be what? I'm going to go to work, right? If someone is taking some sort of, making some sort of move. And let me be clear, this could be spiritual in nature, okay? So they have intentions behind whatever action it is that they're taking, and their intention is to take the lead on something. Now, is it right? Is it wrong? I do feel like midday we are going to find out whether that was right or wrong, right? Some intentions are pure, right? I want to know, right? I want to be sure. I got some questions, right? I need to know, right? I'll be sure, right? Whatever that is, if someone is coming forward because they want to make the right decision, right? They want to be sure of what could be like their choices or their options, or again, to clear some things up. Um, for whatever purposes, it feels like midday that will be known, okay? That will be reflected in the situation or the circumstance based on perhaps the decision that they make, the option of their choosing, okay? I also feel that if that was, if perhaps pure intentions were imaginary, right? If they were made up, then something midday comes in that says that was an illusion. That wasn't really what you meant. That wasn't really what you wanted. That wasn't really what, um, that wasn't perhaps, that was a picture that was painted. Okay. So I do feel like perhaps someone is taking a trip today. Someone is perhaps putting themselves out there, taking a step or action of faith is what it feels like. It also feels like there's maybe some sort of risk associated with doing so. But like I said, there's a sense of wanting to F around and find out. There's also something significant about, I know this is the buck moon, right? Happy full moon to you. But there's something significant about a buck, right? That could be $100, could be significant. That could be $1,000. You take it as you will. But there's something significant. And I feel like I do feel this serious energy coming in at the end of the day where someone doesn't want to be stuck, what feels like with a bad decision or a poor choice. This can also be like with mud on their face, right? Someone doesn't want to make a choice based off of something that is not real, and then be in a position where perhaps they are just like, now what am I going to do? Okay. I feel like a fool, or that was foolish. I shouldn't have taken that risk. So I do feel this energy where something perhaps throughout the day involves significant calculation, which feels like working through some things. This could indicate crunching some numbers. It could also indicate, again, seeking to comprehend. Okay. Someone is working on what could be applying the things that they've learned, having understanding or comprehension, that then leading to what feels like the answer, everything it is that they need, getting everything it is that they need. Okay. And whoever this is uncovering an ability by moving with discernment, right? By utilizing discernment as a gift or as a skill or as a talent. Someone is looking, they're listening, they're being observant, and what feels like they're catching on, to what could be the things that they don't see that connect the unseen realm to the seen realm. Okay. Um, when Pisces comes in and joins Libra in this energy, right? Pisces is adding to this an element of it as the answers are not fully spelled out in front of you. Okay. This is something that you have to be mindful of. This speaks to, if you recall in grammar, you would have, usually you have a sentence where the sentence may start off something like, need to go to the store. And in that, there is an invisible, what is called an understood you or an understood I, right? Do you need to go to the store? Or I need to go to the store. Um, so there is an aspect of today where there's some element that, in parentheses, is understood. And what it does is makes clear, it feels like, the choices, the options, um, the picture is what I feel. Am I imagining this? Am I making this up? Am I telling stories? Or is this really reflecting to me? Is this really real? Right? I can't lie, it's giving Kevin Gates. Really, really, okay? So I do feel like today brings in, I don't know why it does feel like an element of confidence, okay? Just so you know, by the end of the day, okay? And what feels like the liberty, having what feels like everything you need, or knowing everything you need to take a chance, take a risk, or to put yourself out there. I just heard too, Mr. T, don't be no fool, okay? Don't be no fool. I do feel like that's important, okay? Tell me a little bit more about this person. Someone has either some things that they need to get done or that they want handled, taken off their plate. It feels as though there's something that's burdensome, and I don't want this burden. It gives like, who wants to smoke? Not me, okay? So someone wants something perhaps that's on them. They want it off of them. But it also feels like there's an air of whomever this is needs to be discerning, and they need to really get clear in what feels like meditative space about perhaps why whatever may be on them is on them. This can sometimes indicate that someone has made some choices or decisions, and based on perhaps whatever is on you is a result of the decisions that you made. The beauty of that is that for some of you, this indicates there's something that you want to put down, right? The syndicate. And where there's something that you have a desire to put down, right? I hear, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be the reason why. Every time I walk out the door, I see him die a little more inside. Someone could be cheating and they don't want to do that anymore. But there could be a burden of heaviness that's on them because of the fact that they're cheating. And the reason that they feel bound, think about it. Your choices. And again, that could be cheating in any way. That could be lying. That could be deceit. That could be hiding. Now, what if someone is not? What if someone is trying to find out if something is real? Not by means of deceit, but by means of strategy. Okay? This feels as though, if so, it's challenging someone to face perhaps some sort of weighty or burdensome, what feels like it's a task that must be carried or handled in order to make clear the choice, right? It gives the energy of a dowry, right? A dowry is usually something that is paid to the parents of the bride to demonstrate that the groom is worthy to receive their daughter. So this could be someone who is going to the trouble of doing some sort of work, putting in some sort of effort, carrying some sort of weight. Maybe they pushing that weight. All about making clear that they don't want to be stuck in a certain position or predicament, and perhaps that they choose you. That feels very strong today. This can indicate in business that someone is, maybe it is, they are going to say in business, they want you to be a part of the team, but there could be some people that they need to convince, right? It gives campaign. Perhaps they're going to the trouble of lifting the heaviness, right? They're going to take you on. They're going to campaign. They're going to, what feels like, vouch for you. They are going to, it feels like the energy of parade you around. They're going to show you off to some degree. They're going to step up and demonstrate, no, this person has been a good steward. It feels like when you want someone in a certain position, what you are willing to do in order to get them there. And it makes no question about, it makes very clear that that person is your choice. They're the candidate that you selected. They're the one that you've chosen. They are your preferred incumbent. And what it does is makes known, I'm not stuck what could be like in my head about this. If it wasn't clear, or I was uncertain of my choices, this is me knowing this is the one that I would rather be connected to or attached to. Obviously, that's easy to translate in terms of relationships, okay? Because it feels as though there's something that what feels like needs to get done. And I gotta say, there is an energy today that is very much boys to men. So it does feel as though this is separating the men from the boys. It's separating the wheat from the chaff. Thank you for the follow, my love. I appreciate you. Anyone else who's here who is appreciating these messages, give the channel a follow. I appreciate that. You can also follow my other channel, Empress Danny, here on TikTok, and you will find the Patreon link there. Let me just tell you, just for your knowledge, everybody won't step up because everybody doesn't have it like that. Everybody doesn't have the power. Everybody does not have the authority. Michaela Love, Or Saya, you see here, you gotta follow the instructions on screen, love. Everybody doesn't have that authority. So where they don't have that authority, they simply won't step off, okay? So don't you allow that to make you fearful, because everyone doesn't have that power, okay? Some people are going to fall back. Some people will take a step back, a result of you maybe being in this position, okay? So don't let that make you fearful. But there is an energy of finding out, stepping up to the plate. It feels as though growth, okay? I'm not sure what's growing, if it's a growing sense of confusion, right? Is someone having more questions? Or is someone gaining comprehension, which feels as though there could certainly be something that is learned by virtue of the understood, what's not being said, the information that's not being given. This could certainly have to do with a stuck place or a stuck energy. There is midday. Preservation of that which is right. And an understanding or sensitivity concerning that which is not. The intuition is what makes this known, makes this understood. This is work, okay? For some of you, this is the right job, because the offer is going to be spirit-led. Some of you, this is the right attention. For some of you, this is the right person. There is something significant about the police today, and what feels like wrong decisions, wrong reasons. Someone will find that their power has them landed in jail, okay? Someone will be subdued. This will be an authority figure of some sort. It also feels as though someone will be surprised, stepping out of a comfort zone and into a position. This feels like a relationship. What's interesting is we've been talking about the queens showing themselves this week. Today brings out the emperor. I see wands, swords, pentacles. The only one that's not here is cups. And it feels as though you were the only one who had the power to bring this out in someone. An authority that they can't forget. An authority that they will remember forever. And it's because you were responsible with someone. You were responsible. You took the time to understand them, to understand their fears, to understand the things that they were working through and working on. You were discerning of why they were in a position that they were in, why they may have been stuck. You were discerning. You listened to the information it is that they gave you. And you didn't talk about them. You were satisfied to be able to share. It made you happy. And you kept them in the way that they needed to be kept. That's something that someone can't stop thinking about. They've not dealt with someone who was so understanding. And it taught them the given, which is those who are not. And although whomever this is has had a lot of pressure on them, you kept the pressure off. And in some way today, the way in which this person presents, the way in which they step up, it is going to give you the security that you need to let your guard down similarly. Keep that. Keep that. Because what you want most definitely wants you. Aries, Libra, Pisces. That's what I have for you. We'll talk soon.